The riders now completing the parade lap. Let's take a look at the Suzuki starting lineup. This is how they qualified. Kevin Windham's time in beating Jeremy McGrath and Ricky Carmichael gave him the first choice of gate. Phillip and McGrath. The Yamaha riders are right there. Robbie Raynard hoping to convert the good qualifying times over to the main event. David, what about those gate positions now as we see Johnny O'Mara talking with RC?
No, Robbie Raynard right there, number 17, all the way to the inside. They get their pick. Then Carmichael, Phillip, Kevin Windham, and Tortelli next to each other. Tortelli, had he not gone down in his heat race, may have won that. So he has definitely got the pace. Look at the focus and the intensity in the eyes of McGrath. He's focused. Every time he gets beaten in a race, he comes back with fire. There's LaRocco. He's to the outside of McGrath.
Does it surprise you that McGrath picked so far away from the inside on this start?
Yeah, it does. But you know what? He's got a lot of confidence to be able to go out that far. Davey, what's it look like from your angle?
I'm surprised he picked that far outside, too. If he's not careful, doesn't get a good jump, he might end up in the visitors' bench down here on the Lions' home field.
The board is sideways. They're revving up. The 250 of Pontiac number 2 is about set to get underway. McGrath with a great start. And Kevin Windham, after I believe McGrath took the Yahoo.com hole shot, moves into first place.
Well, McGrath had a lot of confidence. As soon as he got out of that gate, he got a great jump, practiced a million starts yesterday, and just leaned in on everybody to the inside, but still, he's chasing Kevin Windham. He did that in the heat race and couldn't make the move. Here they got a lot more laps to deal with.
Boy, it'll be interesting now to see as we take another look at the start. Jeremy McGrath, a terrific jump at the gate, but so number 14 as well on the inside.
Well, McGrath leans right in, but he had to carry so much speed to stay out in front. He had to drift wide. Kevin got a little hop off that jump. Gassed it down to the backside, had a great run to the whoop, took the lead.
So another hole shot for Jeremy McGrath. They have been few and far between, actually, this season for Jeremy. But Jeremy now on the chase as Kevin Windham and Jeremy McGrath start to pull away from Ricky Carmichael and Larry Ward.
And look at this. Windham has opened up a little bit of a lead on McGrath right here. Windham has got this track dialed in, and it's just making Jeremy ride the race of this year to try to stay with him. Carmichael still in third, just like it was in the heat race, but way back. Only one lap in the book. He's already about 3 seconds back. He's got LaRocco right on his tail, then Villeman. So LaRocco's got a much better start than usual, but still, he can't even see the leaders.
Jeremy McGrath trying to chase down Kevin Windham. Windham with a 5th place finish in the first race here at Pontiac this season, as this is the first time in many years that we've had a doubleheader, 2 races in one season in the same venue here.
Look at those guys jumping all the way over that triple right there. McGrath didn't do it that time. If you don't get a great run out of the corner and get lined up in one of those ruts that we just saw on that other huge mountain, you can't do it. But still, that lap, even without tripling before the finish, Jeremy closed the gap slightly, and he gets a clap from Larry Brooks, the team manager.
McGrath moving to within a second on our leader, number 14.
I think back to the Houston round last year where same thing. Windham out front, Jeremy chasing, and eventually wearing him down. But Kevin seems pretty strong-minded out here tonight.
The battle for 4th is on with Mike LaRocco and David Villeman. LaRocco on the Amsoil Honda, number 5 in front of David Villeman.
Look at how LaRocco jumped over the ruts right there. A little bit of different timing. Villeman, different timing from both the guys in front of him.
Here we go. Jeremy McGrath now putting the heat, heavy heat on Kevin Windham. Oh, he makes a nice move without touching plastic.
Well, that was a line that I don't think Kevin could have expected. That was very creative by Jeremy McGrath and very aggressive, sending the message to Kevin Windham that he is out there and means business, and he'll get in there and take whatever line necessary to make that pass. Watch Jeremy. It actually looks like a mistake right there, but he sets himself to the outside, lets Kevin pass, turns on a dime, cuts all the way across. Kevin's going, where did that come from?
Kevin Windham in 2nd place. He had 2 seconds in a row here in Pontiac in 1997 and 98. But I'm sure he would love to stay close with Jeremy McGrath.
Actually, Kevin might be enjoying being in 2nd, not having all that pressure right now, as long as he can stay with him. But look at this.
Yes, Mike LaRocco and Ricky Carmichael side by side. Carmichael going wide, and LaRocco takes the inside route. Here comes David Villeman, also attacking Ricky Carmichael. This is such a busy track.
There's so many different options out there as well. Morocco right there trying to go for that triple. I never saw him do it in the heat race. Jumps it right there, comes up a little short. There's nothing worse than, makes you more nervous than having to jump something you never jumped before in the main event. Take that chance.
So Mike LaRocco in third behind Kevin Windham and Jeremy McGrath, and here comes Villeman. Villeman really on the move, cuts in front of Ricky Carmichael, and it's Villeman moving up a spot.
Ricky just a little bit off the pace tonight. I think that crash last week really interrupted his flow that he had going. He was really on a roll. Podium finishes, the win at Daytona. That crash last week just took it all out of him.
Kevin Windham has not resigned himself to second place at all, David.
No, he is still staying in contention. You know, when we had Pastrana up here joining us for last week's show and McGrath made a pass on him, he said, you know, Kevin may have done that on purpose because he didn't want to have to deal with all that pressure. And in my opinion there was it was a little bit late in the race for that. But here, there's plenty of time. And now, Kevin can apply the pressure on McGrath.
Villeman on the inside of Mike LaRocco. LaRocco just won't have it. The Amsoil factory connection Honda barely holding on to third. In the whoops, Villeman is so good. Villeman, a good black pass. But look at the speed that LaRocco got out of that corner.
Yeah, that's like trying to move a brick wall. And with all that messing around, look at Carmichael's back in the mix.
Oh, what a great battle for third. A three-way battle, LaRocco, Villeman, and Carmichael.
Carmichael rides with a lot of emotion. He recognizes that he's not going fast enough, but he wants to be in this mix. He'll just wick it up and take the chances. And right now, that's what he has to do because Portelli's catching him.
LaRocco's been on the podium 5 times. He's looking to make it number 6. Villeman and Ricky Carmichael. Carmichael getting back in the picture against the Team Yamaha riders. Look at this. Team Kawasaki versus Team Yamaha. Villeman looks back at Ricky Carmichael, RC. Just can't quite make the move. Can't pull the trigger on Villeman.
Keeping him honest. These guys are pushing each other so hard.
Let's go trackside to Davey.
Keep an eye on Villeman if he gets close to LaRocco again. He told me before the race that he didn't think LaRocco liked him one bit. I said, why? And he said, well, in practice last week in Minneapolis, I accidentally ran into him, and he gave me that look like he was going to hit me.
He just might. And he'll want to do it a little later in the race so that LaRocco won't have time to retaliate.
Yeah, I don't think that was paranoia. LaRocco is not shy when he wants to move up a spot. Jeremy McGrath and Kevin Windham battle it out. Will Jeremy McGrath be able to hold off the Team Yamaha rider who was looking for his first win of the year? Jeremy McGrath holds on to the lead. We'll be back. Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross from Pontiac. It's continuing to be a fierce battle as Jeremy McGrath cannot afford a mistake the way Kevin Windham is riding behind him.
You know, right now, Kevin's just out there just waiting for the laps to wind down, waiting for the place to make his move, studying everything McGrath's doing. Later in the race, lapped riders will be able to perhaps work to the advantage of Kevin because he'll be able to see the whole situation where Jeremy's going to have to commit. So I don't think Kevin, with the nerves that he's talked about that have kept him from riding his best, are a problem right now. He can stay with McGrath right here, apparently with apparent ease.
Last time here in Pontiac, he crashed to 14th and came back to 5th.
That's right. So, and as a matter of fact, that was the first race in about 4 or 5 where he did actually make progress towards the end of the race. Even though the finish wasn't impressive, at least he was passing riders and riding fast towards the end. Watch when they come out of this corner and triple up over this mountain. It's just phenomenal. They're jumping through the ruts all the way up over that, landing into more ruts. The technical skill of these guys is just off the scale.
Jeremy McGrath so far has not made that crucial mistake. And even Jeremy is human. We've seen that happen from time to time, but not very often.
Well, whenever I see this, I think back to Tampa when Jeremy had the lead and Kevin just stayed back there and wore on him, finally made the move. Jeremy can be beat. Kevin knows it. He's just got to stay close. If he makes a mistake and loses contact, that's what Jeremy's hoping for, then he just has no chance.
One thing about Jeremy McGrath's domination of the past is he's been able to get a lead in that first 8 laps and not be pressured after that.
This is not the case here in Pontiac.
No, we're approaching lap 10, the halfway point, and Kevin is very much in this battle, forcing Jeremy to worry about what line he's taking. Jeremy just shifted his line there because that's where Kevin was going. He's got to stay in contact, though. Jeremy's patient. He knows that you just can't pull away from a guy like Kevin Windham. He has to be patient, knowing he can just inch away, and he just did there a moment ago. If Kevin can close that gap, we got a race.
If you just tuned in and said, hey, he said Pontiac, they're not going up into the stands? A lot of the riders said the same thing. It doesn't feel like Pontiac because in recent years, of course, we've had the turnstile up and around into the stands here at Pontiac at the Silverdome. But with 2 rounds here this year, they've changed the construction of the track, the over-under, the sand whoops. And Jeremy McGrath now is starting to build a lead on Kevin Windham.
It's that patience I was talking about. Kevin was trying to keep the pressure on, and it was working, but as I talked about it, he couldn't afford a mistake. He made a couple. Lapped riders made a bad decision. Jeremy opened up the gap, and it's just widening out even more now. Jeremy knows that he's not going to make a mistake. He's just banking on Kevin getting tired, making some, and he just made another one right there. Jeremy stretched it out even more.
Now, the big one was a mistake on the 222 for Kevin Windham, and it gave McGrath some breathing room where he had only about 0.2 of a second per lap on Kevin Windham. Now he's starting to stretch it out. And the brilliance of the 6-time champion and defending champ of 250 Supercross is starting to shine right now.
And if Kevin is starting to fade slightly, he cannot afford to fade much more because LaRocco's back there, Villeman is back there. Those guys get stronger in the last 5 laps.
Jeremy McGrath, another stellar year for this man. 7 wins with 5 races left. Well, less than that now, of course. But a remarkable 10 podiums. 4th place was Jeremy's worst finish this year.
Look at the airtime those guys get. And good thing, look at those ruts they're jumping over. Jeremy and a lot of these guys, the guys with that great finesse, guys like Kevin, they try to time, as soon as these ruts get into the face of some of these jumps, they try to change their timing and jump over those.
Jeremy's had his ups and downs here in Pontiac. 1997, he was leading the race and crashed. And then, of course, the famous triple clamp that broke in 98. And that was his first and only DNF in his Supercross history. So anything could still happen to Jeremy McGrath despite the confident move he shows us right here.
Kevin actually stayed even that last lap, if not picked up about 0.2 of a second. And they've got a clear track here for a while and don't have to deal with any lappers. So
David Villeman in 4th place behind LaRocco and Windham. And he'll lose some ground in the points race if he can't pick it up as he looks at the lapper Heath Voss. Back to our number 1. He's had his share of wins here, that's for sure.
I guarantee you McGrath was here. You could tell in McGrath's post-race interview last week that he already was just irritated. It didn't really come off well. It sounded like excuses, but he's not very used to losing. And I admire a guy that hates to lose to the point where you can sense it in his interview. But I guarantee he worked out hard, put in a lot of laps, and he's proven right now that he did his homework.
Well, on the upside, Jeremy, of course, led every lap here earlier in February for the win. In fact, it was his last hole shot before tonight.
Reaches over and tightens that clutch up a little bit. That's what he does. They start to get a little bit of play as that clutch heats up. He reaches over and turns that little dial that they've made that you can reach in the air and take the play back out.
Last year he won leading 20 laps, but the one I really respected was 94 when he went to the LCQ. And for the first time that I can remember, won a main event after winning a last chance qualifier. So can Jeremy McGrath continue to be flawless here in Pontiac number 2? We'll find out when we return. Back in Pontiac, Jeremy McGrath is our leader in Pontiac number 2, but Kevin Windham and Mike LaRocco are starting to get closer together. Kevin Windham in second, LaRocco wants his second consecutive second place. Anything messes up, too, David Villeman and Ricky Carmichael are the next in the order here on this terrific track.
It looks to me like what LaRocco is famous for, and that is getting stronger at the end, is coming into play here again. And Kevin worked so hard, taking its toll now.
Look at that, Mike LaRocco. Kevin Windham trying to box him out, but he slips it. And Mike LaRocco moves into second place now.
Well, it'd be such a bonus, even though Kevin has lost that lead, lost the time to McGrath. If he can hang on to the podium right now and just improve his performance one more position over last week, know that he led the race a while, pushed McGrath, a big boost, but he's got Villeman back there.
With some 4 laps remaining in our main event, our 250 main event here in Pontiac, it's still not clear whether Villeman can't pick up some action. Look at Villeman. Let's go down to Davey Coombs trackside.
You know, watching that pass, we saw Mike LaRocco come up on Wyndham. I got to ask you guys, with the absence of people like Ezra, Lusk, and Jeff Emig, have these 250 guys lost the ability to go in and make contact? David, I don't know how about you, but I remember watching you guys. You guys were fierce, and today it looks like, I don't know, people are afraid to hit each other.
It does a little bit. It looks like they don't want to start anything, start any bad karma. Because you know if you hit somebody, they're going to come back and hit you, and you never know really when that's going to happen.
Mike LaRocco now is pulling within 4 seconds of Jeremy McGrath. Now, does he have enough laps left to catch him at that speed?
Well, McGrath
I don't think he does.
Could have put it into cruise control a little bit. He's done that before. And I guarantee you that he's going to get that signal when he comes to the mechanics there after Phoenix. That'll never happen again. It's going to be a big neon board with flashing lights.
The surprise race in which Villeman caught up and passed Jeremy McGrath, and Jeremy said, I did not know he was there. Here's the battle for third. Villeman still trying to get in front of number 14, Kevin Wyndham.
These guys have stayed close. I was actually nervous at the start of this race. I'm not even down there, but I just had a feeling all these guys were on a track.
Look at the ruts.
Riding so close that this would be a close race.
Villeman cuts now in front of Kevin Wyndham.
And that was something they were able to triple earlier, and they would have tripled that even though he cut that corner so tight a little earlier in this race, but the ruts have gotten so deep. In one lap, you can lose a couple of seconds just from a few mistakes. Jeremy's still up over the big obstacles. See if he jumps this one still. I can't even believe how good and how well these guys ride and what they're able to jump over, and lap after lap in ruts and traffic with pressure, everything riding on it. It's just amazing. If you stand there on the floor and look how high Jeremy is getting out of a corner with about a 20-foot run, if that, to jump up over a jump 45 feet away.
If you come early to those races left in New Orleans and Texas Stadium and Las Vegas and so forth, go down as close to the track as you possibly can and just see how high these dirt mounds get. It's scary for the normal person just to look at it. But for these guys, with 2 laps to go, Jeremy McGrath is breezing.
He's got LaRocco closing. He knows it.
LaRocco still 4 seconds in back of McGrath with 2 laps to go.
This is the first time I've seen McGrath go to that inside. He changed his line. LaRocco's been taking that line the whole time. So that advantage that McGrath usually gets up over that big jump, he's not going to get this time. LaRocco should be able to close that gap a little bit more.
Anticipating more excitement now. This is the final lap, the white flag lap. Mike LaRocco will go all out to try to catch the leader, Jeremy McGrath. You can see him at the end of that whoop section as we go back to Jeremy on the triple.
He got a little squirrely the last time through in the sand. But Jeremy's pretty solid. He's able to acknowledge the fans. He's obviously feeling pretty comfortable about it. Everything's got to be just right. LaRocco has ridden a fantastic race to come through the pack the way he did. It was a pretty good start, but he still had to get past these guys and into second. Put the pressure on Jeremy.
Yeah, I was going to say on a tight track too, David.
He just figures out a way. The guys, he can just mail in second. He is so strong.
McGrath looking at the checkers. The flashbulbs pop, and Jeremy McGrath wins his 8th race of the year 2000 in Supercross. And Kevin Wyndham holds on to 3rd over David Villeman. That's quite an accomplishment, David.
Well, a couple things happen right there. That helps McGrath. You can see the relief right there. He's going, whoo. After last week, it was starting to get tight. He's sweating. He's stretched it back out right now, and Kevin Wyndham just helped him put 2 more points on Villeman. 2
very valuable points. Bob Oliver of Team Yamaha coming over to give him a high five. Yamaha now with 11 wins, 12 wins on this season, ties the all-time record of 12 set back in 1980. Yamaha getting 12 wins on that season. Mike LaRocco, a well-deserved second place. Paul DeLoria, his mechanic on the left side. Drew Shane. Sebastian Tortelli's mechanic on the other side of him.
The difference in LaRocco's face, shaking his head a little bit, just going, yeah, I know it was a good ride. I'm sick of hearing that. I want to win. Look at him.
So Mike LaRocco with a second place finish. We're anxious to hear from our winner, Jeremy McGrath, when we return to the Silverdome in Pontiac. EA Sports Supercross from Pontiac, Michigan. Welcome back. Jeremy McGrath has just won his first doubleheader ever. 2 races in the same city during the same season. Davies with the 6-time champion right now.
Jeremy on a real tough track tonight. Kevin Windham riding really fast. Mike LaRocco coming on strong, but just didn't seem to phase you. Another race win for you.
Well, I could see Mike behind me there at the end, and in the beginning, Kevin was riding great. You know, he was, I mean, we were neck and neck there, and I put a little fast on him and kind of closed him out, and I think that's the only way you can get through on this track. And I was kind of hoping that he would get a little more tired than that in the beginning, and he didn't, so I had to kind of make my move and get away because Mike was coming.
What about the start? We were talking about how you lined up on the outside, man. You had to get a perfect jump to get out of there safely. You did just that.
Well, I would like to thank Doug from Bridgestone. You know, we've been running a little bit shorter knob, and it's a little loose tonight, and we kind of came up with a combination together to get a little bit more bite on the track. And I mean, you're right, I had to be perfect because I was on the outside, but my strategy last week with the inside didn't work too good, so I'd rather be out there by myself and see what I can do. I overran the first corner a little bit, though.
Finally, this is one of those pace super fun races. You know, it's another 20 grand in the bank for you.
Yeah, I know. You know, I didn't even know I won the other 2 until tonight, so you know, that's kind of cool. Just a little bit extra bonus, and I got a long ways to go, though. You know, Villeman's running that 2-race 500 grand series, so we'll see what happens.
Well, just think of it this way. No matter what he makes in Vegas, chances are looking good that the way things are, you're going to go home with the crown, well, your 7th crown here in the Supercross Series.
Well, you know, I couldn't do it without the team. Chaparral, Mazda, Yamaha. I had Gary Simics out at my house this year training really hard, and, you know, my mechanic, Randy, my whole family, everyone behind me, and, you know, we've come a long way, and I think this year is probably my best year so far in 3 years, so it's looking good. I'm happy to do what I'm doing for Yamaha.
Jeremy, his mechanic Randy Lawrence, now on to take care of those duties only a winner has to worry about. The Honda results page showing us the official finishing positions. Windham back on the podium for the first time since January 22nd. A winning challenge by David Villeman, lasting only 1 race this time, but as Jeremy reminded us, though, Villeman still has that Vans Triple Crown to look forward to in Las Vegas. Don't forget, that's live pay-per-view. Michael Craig, the best results of the 10 privateers in this race, in 10th position. More tough luck for Larry Ward. Let's hear from the other 2 podium winners now.
A couple Honda riders down here are chasing after Jeremy. First of all, you, Mike, you didn't have that good of a start, but man, what an ending.
Yeah, imagine that. No, actually, my Amsoil competition accessories Honda worked great. Like it's been all year. I felt great out there, and especially in the whoops, and I think that's what made up a lot of time. And you know, I managed to put some time on Jeremy, but as always, not enough time.
What if they had one of these Supercross races that was, say, 25, maybe 30 laps? Could you get them?
Yeah, I'm trying to work in a union so we can get that changed. That would be great.
Okay, right here, 3rd place. Now, Kevin, what a fantastic start. You're riding right there with Jeremy. And even when he went by you, you hung tough. What happened in the middle of the race?
I started tightening up a little bit. We were holding a pretty good pace, and you know, I felt his pressure behind me, and you know, he got by me, and I was able to stick with him for a lot of laps, and I felt like I was going to stay with him for the whole time, you know, and hopefully make a late race pass. But I started getting a little nervous and tightening up a little bit, and you know, I'm happy with 3rd this weekend. It's a hell of a lot better than what I've been doing. So I'd like to thank all my sponsors for helping get me here. Honda, 1-800-COLLECT, No Fear, Dunlop Tires, Alpine Star Boots, Araya Helmet, Scott Goggles.
Good job, Kevin. You know what? Coming back on Villeman like that at the end, you got to take a little bit home with that. That was a nice victory for you.
Yeah, at the end, you know, he got by me, and I was like, man, I got to dig deep for the podium. And you know, the middle part of the race, I felt my arms coming on. I kind of relaxed a little bit, and I think that's once I dropped back and started to relax a little bit, I think that's what gave me the little extra drive to get Williman back with 2 laps to go. Thanks.
Hopefully this late season improvement continues for Kevin. It's been a rather frustrating season for the 5-time winner. Taking a look at the Suzuki points, McGrath by 32 over David Williman. With 4 races left, it appears if McGrath stays on course, the percentages are anyway, he could wrap things up in Chicago. His teammate on the Chaparral team, Tim Ferry, rounding out the top 10. David, your final thoughts.
That Jeremy McGrath is the undisputed king. I mean, anytime he has something he needs to come back and prove, he can do it. And the way he did it tonight, starting from the outside, having that confidence, just lean in on everybody, get around Kevin, hold off the pressure of LaRocco. The guy is just unbelievable and stretches out that lead even more.